All right, everybody. Hey again. Um, that was pretty funny making that last tutorial, and I got a lot of hits on it. It was actually a funny project, so I thought let's try and see if you can take this to the next level, so to speak. It is a bit hard getting these hairs to stick to the surface while it's deforming. So here's a kind of a workaround. You are going to have to use a deformer and to do this. So I'm just in a new document here, I'm just making a plane and a sphere, and I'm going to get that plane to stick to the sphere. You might already know this deformer, but I don't think you really know the power of it, because it's actually it can do a lot of stuff. So I've just given this the plane a color so we can see it, and now I am going to put a surface deformer on it if I can find it. What the surface deformer does is it takes one object and puts it onto another. I'm going to dump the sphere in the link, and I'm going to put it to UV instead of projection. And as you can see, it's now sticking. You can offset it slightly, and just going to increase the subdivisions here, the segments on it, so it gets more fine, both on the sphere and on the plane. So as you can see, I can now move it around this. I can move the plane around on the sphere, and it sticks to the UV coordinates. Very simple and very powerful. I'm going to show you. It's pretty funny once you start playing with these things, you suddenly come to think of other stuff that you can do with this. Of course, you can scale this down also. If I can manage to figure out, yeah, it's got X, Y, and Z coordinates there. So yeah, but this is pretty, of course, pretty simple stuff. Slide on surface. Ever wanted to do that in Cinema 4D? You might have seen this somewhere else, I don't know if someone's done this tutorial before. So back in this other scene, this is actually the only thing I did was I projected these, instead of projecting a plane to a sphere, I projected these splines, the hair splines, guide splines, onto the sphere, and I did freeze them. So this is not again, I'm kind of breaking the procedural cycle here, but I had to do that in this case. I'm taking I made a cloner object with these guides that you saw before, and I froze it into this object, and then I'm putting the surface deformer on that one, which makes it stick. So I'm just going to show you what's going on. I eventually had to scale them in the, what do you call it, the depth or whatever, in order to make them look correct. But, you can see here when I am when I enable the deformer, they jump in place. So this will work on an animated object, and this also means that the splines will shrink once the pulleys become smaller because of the UV. You can see they're sticking to it now. I baked this animation in order to make all of the feedback a bit faster. I've got some other hairs on here. The other hairs are dynamic, so they're colliding with the planes. The other splines are not dynamic, because otherwise they're going to fall off. So the main hairs are not dynamic, the extra hairs are dynamic. I'm just going to show you another way to use this surface deformer, because, as I said, this is what happens when you start playing around with stuff like this, you certainly come to think of, oh, I can use it for something else. And actually, I made this boat stick to a surface by using the surface deformer. This might be the totally wrong way to do it, and you can probably get some plugin or script that does the same, but that's not what it's about. This is about using what's inside Cinema to drive other things around and pushing around data, and that is really that's the fun stuff about this program. It's got so many different different little tools that can help each other. It's a good playground. So anyway, real quick, I made a plane with it's just one poly here, so this kind of levels it out. Do you see what I mean? It kind of makes it interpolate these waves. It's pretty clever. Then I made a single clone with a ship and stuck it to the polygon center. But of course that's going to get me in trouble later on because it's a clone. I can't do anything with that. So you all know this, or now you do at least. You make an espresso where you take the data from the cloner and you map it onto to another object. So I'm hiding I'm hiding the cloner, and then I'm showing another object, which is the ship, which will give me access to the ship's poly. And then I'm gonna hide some other stuff. Hide that plane again. Hide the cloner. Show the polygon ship. And then I put dynamics on the boat. You can see that when it starts, that kind of sinks. And I'm using the force. Oh god, that sounded really funny. I'm using the force tab because that is where you can say that you want it to stick with some percentage to its actual position. The UV, the surface deformer, is animated, by the way, along the coordinates, so the boat sails. But turning on these forces, how it sticks to it, you can see the boat now. It's really sticky and rigid. So putting the position to 10 and the rotation down, it'll make it kind of wobble around. Of course, you could offset it also to get it above or under the waves. But yeah, pretty funny way of of using a deformer. By the way, the waves are made with a shader effector with deformation enabled on a plane also. As you can see, it's animated textures. I'm using different noise textures. This is the dent one. I think I inverted it, and it's animated on various parameters. And then I'm stacking them on top of each other. You can see they're real time, which is pretty cool. You got feedback, instant feedback. So I'm stacking them on top of each other and scaling them down and turning the transparency down on them with a layer. So you get this kind of a wave-y thing. You can see you can really mess it up if you push the wrong button. Then I'm doing it again in the bump section, just for visual pleasure. Again, just stacking them and turn them down. Yeah, I've got this on top of it. I've got this gamma correction on it, and you can see what it's doing. It's kind of making the waves more pointy. I know this was going to be about knitting, but now that you're here, might as well show this. Yeah, so anyway, thanks for watching, and have fun with that.